industry stories. B.Woods. Hope you're enjoying your day or wherever you're at. And of course, this is the podcast where we talk about stories from the industry, entertainment industry, acting, music, entertainment, people's personalized stories, and from the perspective of yours truly, Mr. B. Woods. And especially being out here in LA, it makes it a little bit different. I think it makes us unique just because the energy and the excitement of working in the business in Los Angeles is a lot. It's a lot different because you hear the term being Hollywood and being Hollywood, and what does that even mean out here in Hollywood? And a lot of it has to do with just kind of faking the funk before you actually make it. Faking the funk. I sound old as hell saying that shit, but like just kind of faking or acting as if the success that you may or may not have dictates the way that you interact with other people. And so being Hollywood is something that I think it's very apparent out here in LA because people, they can be working at Target somewhere, and if they're the manager, they'll just have this air or this vibe about them, like, yo, bro, like, you know, I am the floor manager here at Target, and so you have to request time to speak to me through my assistant. Like, that's the energy out here in LA. Everybody has a super ego about them, and especially if you work within the entertainment business. There's this one dude. He's actually a mixer at one of the local radio stations, and since I'm within the business, um, I kind of just know faces or this, that, and the other. And I had a friend. They work for a nonprofit, and they were talking, and I kind of stepped into the conversation, and he was just, and just to kind of give you context, the person, he's like a mixer, meaning that he spins, every so often on the radio, and he's that's what he does, which is great, but it is what it is. So, but he's not a big name, you know what I mean? Like, he's not filling out stadiums or nothing like that. Like, nobody really knows him. And so it's, I guess, for a person that doesn't really know any better, just to be mixing on the radio is kind of like a big deal. I mean, it's a big deal and it's not a big deal. It's just kind of something in between, especially in the world of like social media and building your brand and that type of stuff. So the person I knew was talking to him, and they essentially, he says, I am a celebrity a DJ, and what I can bring to this is going to be way bigger than anything that you can think of. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, bruh, tone that shit down. Celebrity TMZ ain't out here chasing you. Harvey Levin is not blowing up your phone. Shut the fuck up and relax, and just relax, bro. You let's put it into context. On the weekend, you spin a couple of fucking songs on the radio, and every so often, one of the personalities, say your name and say thanks for spinning these goddamn songs. That's basically it. That's all. That's all it is. You know what I mean? And you piggyback pictures from the concerts that they do, and when Megan Thee Stallion and the baby is taking pictures with everybody, you lean your ass in and take one too and post it on Instagram and make it seem like the baby is calling you, on the personal, and that's not really the case. And so everybody is just super, just extra out here. And the thing is too, I had to go through that stage early in my career. Also, it was very different because the realm of being able to reach the public was a lot more difficult back in the day, right? Because there was no real, like, internet wasn't really the popping way to kind of get out there. Social media really wasn't like that back then. So the only way that people really knew what was popping was like the radio. So at the time, I was working, at the beat in the promotions department, and we would do these things called call-ins. Now, what a call-in was was the radio person would be on the air, and they would take a phone call from the promotions department, somebody that works in promotions that was at a specific location, like at the corner, and they were giving away tickets. And so at the time, at the Beat, it was called the Beat Street Team, and we were the most popular street team in, I would say, the country, because they would actually market and brand it. So we all had our names, our B.Woods, my boys, and just like everybody was just, big. So when we did, when we were out there, like literally, like maybe like 50 to like on a 50 people, 60 would just kind of show up to either get the tickets or just kind of hang out with us. So it was isolated, and not no other radio station was kind of doing like the B Street Team, and so they had a little promo, and so it would sound as if like it was the biggest thing that was happening, and this was very exclusive because nobody really got a shot to be on the radio. So the DJ would be on the air and be like, "Yo, what up? This is so and so, and let's check in with the streets. Where you at?" And then, I'll be, "Yo, what's up? It's B.Woods. I'm in the corner of like Pico and Sepulveda, and we got your tickets to go see so and so, and make sure you guys come on out. I'm looking for, the first 5 people to show me a picture of their family member, and I'll give you tickets to go see the whatever, whatever, whatever." So people would hear that, they'll come to the corner, and that would be it. So the other effect was that it's just that even people that didn't show up, they would hear your voice on the radio. They would know your name. The personality would talk to you. Guys would have a little banter. And so in a time when, it was hard to get exposure, it was either radio, TV, or film. That was it. So to be on any of those platforms where they're promoting you as an individual was huge, especially out here in LA at the time. So going back to be in Hollywood. So when that started happening for me, every weekend or every like once a day, I was out there, and people kind of started to know who you were. Like the ego you started feeling yourself a little bit. You're like, "Oh, they know me up in these streets. Like, all right, it's cool." And so it was to the point to where, I'm wearing sunglasses inside clubs. A very douchebag energy that I was having, when I walked around, I was just like, it was just, "Hey, hold on, I gotta take this phone call. This is important." It wasn't shit. And then, the radio station, they would either call my house, or, I would take this. At the time, I was young and I was still living at home, and so I would take this B.Woods energy at home, and my brother, he just like, he looked at me, he's like, "Man, what the fuck, what's going on with you, man? Like, don't bring that shit up in here. I know you for who you are. Like, don't bring that shit." Like, he had to check me on it. And at that point, it really kind of like it brought me back. It brought me back to my core and who I am, and I knew that the energy and the vibe and this character that I was playing on the air is not really reality, and I have to somehow make sure that I don't let this persona or this brand overstep or overreach who I was as an actual individual, because what you do shouldn't really define who you are, right? Who you are should define what you do. That's some deep shit. Damn, I'm coming heavy tonight, goddammit. So it was important for me to really check myself and be checked, so that I was able to really ground myself. And that's the biggest thing when you come to LA. It's easy, or when you begin to get success, it's easy to kind of fall into that level of energy, right? When and the numbers are different now, right? Because now people, you got 50,000 followers, 60,000, like 1 million followers is really not as much anymore. Like the number 1 million is not as big as it just once was, right? People really start paying attention to you until like when you're in that, like that 4 to 5 to 6, and it's one of those things. But even if you do have a significant number of just followers, that can really promote your ego and your brand and the way that you treat people. And so the cool part about it is, like, say theoretically you do get some stuff popping, right? So this is always the kicker. You get something popping. Say for instance you do manage to get X amount of followers or whatever, and this, that, and the other, and you define yourself by that. You say, hey, this is, I'm so and so from Instagram, I'm so and so from Snap, I'm so and so from, this thing that, this corporate entity, this so and so from the radio station, I'm so and so from doing a guest star role on a TV show on Netflix or whatever. And then the cold thing happens, right? They erase your account, they take that away from you. That thing that you're known for is just not there anymore. And if you are emotionally attached to that, then that's usually the thing that literally sits your ass down, and it usually breaks most people. Within the entertainment business, that's usually what it is. And it's really, the people that's kind of been there for a while. I've seen people that, they'll use the radio station as their handle on social media, and then that shit flips to like, some other language or something like that, and then you define yourself by that, and then it's pretty much a wrap. And so all those things, just to say that all those things can be taken away at any point. And so it's important to just kind of know that you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to know when you're playing the persona and not believe that shit. And that's the problem, I think, in LA. It's like people believe their own bullshit, and that can get you lost, because at that point, once you start feeling yourself to the point to where you don't even realize, like, hey, I'm talking bullshit to myself, then you're totally lost. And then that makes you susceptible to just anything. Anybody can walk into you and just like, all they have to do is cater to your ego, and it's a wrap. It's a wrap. They can just say, hey man, you fly, hey, you fine as hell, like this, whatever. And you're like, yeah, and then they know how to open you up and take advantage of you. Or they can threaten you by saying, hey man, you're gonna lose this if you don't fuck with me. That's the other part of it. So it's always just good to kind of know, where you stand. Always have like a base of people that can really just kind of check you and put you in your place, so that you don't have to be walking around delusional and wearing sunglasses and funky. I mean, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's just about, it's the mentality toward it. It's either you playing the role to get your shit popping, or you believe your own bullshit. So the key is not to believe your own bullshit, because if you believe your own bullshit, then you're pretty much, lost in the wind, and you get caught up by the industry, and you become a motherfucking industry story. All right. So my name is B.Woods, and of course, keep it locked right here. We got more of them industry stories.